Hey there, RC people. Tony here, CCxRC. We're in the studio again, and I've got a brand new truck here in front of me, a Truggy, the Bison by Vcar. Now, this has been hitting a lot of RC channels recently. Gearbest asked me if I wanted to do a review on this. In turn, they would send it to me to show on my channel. And after looking at other videos and looking at the specs on this, I said, sure, why not? You know, I've always said from the beginning that my goal with this channel is to bring RC to the masses and to just spread the love that I have for this hobby with other people. Now, the problem is that the cost of entry can be somewhat high, especially the cost of entry at a level where people would be excited about continuing. And so usually they're getting in at a brushed motor, all of that, in the $200 to $300 range. This, however, is a brushless system that can take up to 4S LiPo. They say it goes 80 to 90 kilometers per hour, but we all know what that means when it says a speed on the box. But that would be roughly around 50 miles per hour. So this is a 1/10 scale Truggy. Looks very similar to something like maybe an E-Revo. But we're gonna open this up, we're gonna get inside the box, and we're gonna show you what's in here. And we're gonna take a look at it and see what you get for the price that you would pay for this, which is a little over $300 at the time of this video recording. All right, let's do it. There's nothing like opening up an RC car. Just always so exciting. All right, let's start with the side box. This is gonna be our controller, but nobody really wants to see the controller, do they? All right, what's in here? All right, guys, look at this beauty. This is the Bison by Vcar. Now, it's a four-wheel drive Truggy, as I said before. I've got the camera. We're going to free float as we look around this because I just want to get in and look at all the different nooks and crannies that make up this vehicle. First, we're going to look at some of the things it came with. It has a little sticker pack here, which you can add to it if you want. These cool, like, pirate ship looking things. Not sure how those fit in the theme, but whatever. That's cool. 3 Allen wrenches. Those are open because I put on the tail here in the back. And the instruction manual, which goes through and it has the part numbers and things in the back, but it also, you know, has the exploded views to be able to see how things are put together. So that's great. It's got different things about the manual, binding, all of that. Very detailed, just like a lot of the manuals are. So they didn't skimp on that. We got the charger here. I'm guessing it'll take a while to charge because you're going to use your balance leads here, 2 or 3S, that'll plug into this to charge. And the controller is over here. It's a nice shade of purple to go with the orange. You got an orange and purple theme. You pop this open here. It's got the standard variety of things in here. We've got our throttle controls, trims, steering trim, forward and reverse for your motor, and for your steering if wired up a little bit wrong. On switch, takes 4 batteries, AA, and a nice grippy little purple steering wheel with a foldable antenna. So it's, you know, again, it's pretty standard variety of things here. It's 2.4 gigahertz, so that is good. And yeah, this'll do for it. Feels all right in your hand. Everything seems all right there, but this is what we want to look at. This is what we're here for. The Bison. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take these body clips off, and we want to look inside of this, don't we? So let's do it. All right. Nice. It comes with a dust cover for your electronics on the inside here, which is probably helpful because that drive shaft is completely exposed in a little channel there. If you get some rocks in there, that could tear that up. So this is nice that this is included. What else? Before we take that off, let's look around it. So we've got aluminum shock towers, and these are beefy, guys. These are really thick towers. Aluminum shocks. Now these are not only the caps, but the actual shocks themselves are aluminum. So that is very nice. The 2 LEDs in the front, and the first thing I'm going to notice and point out here is that wire is really tight. So I have a feeling that that is going to get ripped apart and the lights won't work for me for very long. But we'll get in some new wires if we want to keep them running and all that. So let's actually flip it on, take a look. the LEDs in the front. There's also 2 rear LEDs that are red back here. That's super cool looking. So if you're in here, and while we're looking in here, look at the diff. Right around the diff, they've got these beefy aluminum braces on the outside of the differentials. Up to the shock tower here, again, aluminum. The A-arms have a guard that protect your shocks, and the A-arms themselves are nice and thick. They're wide, but they're also very thick plastic. So that should take a good bashing, I'm hoping. It's got a wheelie bar. It's got 2 wheels on the back here, which is nice instead of a single one, because that helps it stay straight instead of wanting to wobble on that rear wheelie bar. And those have bearings, so those spin nice and smooth. Let's turn this back off and let's look at these the parts on the inside here. So this just looks like it clips off. It's not Velcro. It uses a little clipping mechanism right here that it just kind of clips onto real quickly. So I did have this off because I plugged in the battery real quick to be able to do the test. And so what you get is a 3500 milliamp 3S hard pack LiPo battery, which is really killer. Not only do you get the car for the just above $300 price tag, but you get a LiPo battery, 3S in that. We've got brushless motor, and look at the motor mount. It's a thick aluminum motor mount. We've got the waterproof ESC, looks like a big Hobbywing style ESC. A 4-channel receiver, and then the waterproof on-off switch. Those 2 sit on the servo, which is underneath. All right, so I just unplugged the battery to get it out of the way, and you can see here the servo where it sits, right underneath those 2. So let's flip the car over and let's take a look on the underside of it as well. All right, so this is a little bit different design that I've seen here. In fact, the battery Velcro straps are coming right through and clipping underneath the bottom here, and I'm wondering if that's going to get torn up as I'm bashing really hard and hitting. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. You can see where your steering from your servo comes through the bottom here. The one thing I couldn't tell is flipping back over, I don't know what kV this brushless motor is, and I'm not sure about the specs as well on the servo. Looks pretty generic. It's just black. But overall, the build on this for the cost seems really, really good. Again, you can see the aluminum under here around the differentials, and you've got that on the front as well. The tires are nice and grippy. They've got foam in them. They're soft. These things are going to balloon like crazy, I have a feeling. We'll see how they hook up with this type of tread pattern. Nice wide tire though, as you can see here. So it's a pretty wide tire. So it's a nice composite plastic. Seems really, really thick. Even here in the front, nice bumper. Most of my bumpers get pretty trashed, so having these lights in here on a basher, I don't know if that's something I'm going to work to keep up or not. So let's talk about this, because there's a lot of cool things in this that really excite me for the price point. Wow, guys, even the shocks are pretty impressive on this thing out of the box. I just wanted to come on this side of the camera again because I wanted to talk to you for a minute just about all the excitement that I'm getting as I'm unboxing this car. I'm feeling like the first car that I got again 4 years ago with the Traxxas Gravedigger. And so I got into doing these videos because I wanted to share my love for the hobby with other people. And so in doing so, people have started following, and then people started asking me for my opinions on things, which there's many people who have a better opinion about this and know a whole lot more than I do. But they're asking me for my opinion about what they should get as a first RC car. And there's a few that I go to. It's the ECX Ruckus, the ECX Amp, the Traxxas Slash, a Traxxas Gravedigger or Stampede, like I had gotten. Now it's the Traxxas Stampede, and the RC10 B4.2. Depending on what they're wanting to do with the car, there's a couple of options that I point them to, and then whether or not they want four-wheel drive, things like that, but starting in at a lower price point. And so when I look at this, I get really excited because in the price point that many people are looking at, This comes with a whole lot more upgrades. This has brushless motor. This has aluminum shock towers, aluminum shocks. It's fully waterproof, and so it's pretty insane. It's 4-wheel drive, so you know I'm getting excited again talking about it. And for about just over $300. You also get the battery. So when I started with a Traxxas Stampede, the Gravedigger. I still run it, still love it to this day. I paid about $230 for it. Brushed motor, plastic everything, but it's just a basher. It can take a beating, and it just keeps running. When I was ready to move up from my Traxxas Stampede, that Gravedigger monster truck that I still love to bash, I went right to a Losi 10 SCTE, and I spent $500 on that for a ready-to-run version. And it has a lot of the same elements that we're seeing here in this $300 version right here. The aluminum shock towers, the aluminum shocks, some of the little upgrades that we're seeing in this, the brushless motor. Now the first things to go in that $500 Losi were the ESC, which didn't even last a month. Luckily they sent me a new one for free, and then about 2 or 3 months later my servo went, and I ended up getting a Savox for that. So the things that I see that might be a potential problem in these in the future are the same things that went on a much more expensive truck. This thing out of the gate, they're saying, is going to go stupid fast. This also comes with a battery. So when I bought that Losi, guess what? I had to buy a LiPo battery, which I paid $70 for, and a charger, which I paid another $60 or $70 for. So all in, I'm looking at about $700 to get into it. With this, now the charger on this is going to be slower. You're looking at $330 or so, which is crazy. I haven't tested this yet, so I can't get too excited. But again, I've seen run videos with it, and they've been pretty impressive. So I'm going to be taking this out. I'm going to be bashing this thing because I want to be able to tell you what I really think of it in a review after I'm done doing that. Because what I'm looking at in parts looks really impressive. Now, one of the things I do have to point out is that unlike a Traxxas or an ECX, I can't run to my local hobby shop and just buy a new A-arm for this if I snap it. I can replace an ESC easily with any other ESC. Same with the servo. I'm not looking at anything too, tricky here. Just go into your local hobby shop and you can swap that out. Same with motors, gears, things like that, that are going to be a constant through most RC cars. What's going to be specific to this truck are things like the body mounts, the A-arms, these turnbuckles, which you could probably swap with something else. But these are pretty beefy turnbuckles, I must say, for plastic ones. So you've got certain things. You could probably find dog bones that are the same length as this that you could put in. But you snap one of these A-arms or you destroy these CVDs in here, you're going to be looking at needing to go back to the company and order them. Now, I know that Gearbest does have some of the parts available. I've also searched on other sites to look what parts there are for this and the part support. And it is out there, so you can get replacement parts, but you're most likely going to have to wait for shipping to get it back up and running again. And so you've got to weigh the two things, the cost that you get for entry versus the time that you might have to wait to fix something that goes wrong. But the tires and things like that are running, pretty standard sizing for the wheel lugs that these slide onto. And so you can get away with swapping out quite a few of the components that you might end up having a problem with. I've seen run videos on this. I haven't run it myself yet, but it was pretty impressive. And so I look forward to getting this on the trails for you guys. And I have to thank Gearbest for reaching out to me and asking me if I would do a review on this, because it's exactly what I'm looking for the people that ask me about a first RC car. Something that I can say, you know what, you're going to just die when you see how fast this is, or how durable it is, or how far you can jump it. It does backflips, stuff like that. That I can't say about a lot of the other cars. And again, it depends what they're getting into. I'm just excited about owning it and running it for myself because I don't have a Truggy, and I look forward to really jumping this thing and airing it out. So you guys will see those coming here soon. As always, thanks for stopping in. I'm Tony with CCxRC, guys. Have fun RCing.